We're here. What the fuck were we talking about earlier?
The sun.
The sun?
We were talking about the sun, and there were a bunch of kids walking by as we were smoking weed, so we had to leave.
It's about that time. You know, school just started for these kids, too. What a great way to be
Yeah, they can't be ruined that early on.
for the first week, just smelling that good shit.
That's not our job to ruin them that early on. That's somebody else's job, and they're great.
They're already ruined.
You think?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Think the kids are already ruined?
California kids, dude.
Did you grow up
kidding.
here?
No, Vegas.
Oh, weird.
How's that weird?
How far off the strip?
Like 20-minute drive. It was like a 15 miles away from the strip. 15, 20.
Oh, so you were like in a suburb, like a little...
Yeah, close to the mountain.
Ooh. Was it kind of hick? Was it hick?
No, on the other side of Vegas was super hick. On the other side of Vegas.
No, we were on the good side of the
Yeah,
tracks.
we were chill, dude.
For Vegas. Interesting.
You're from Detroit?
Yeah, but like, I'm the same with like, the strip if like I'm outside of Detroit, like in the same way you're outside of Vegas.
Oh, okay. Okay, so a suburb.
Yeah, the burbs, but like the country. I'm in like the country.
Like a farm?
I mean, there were Yaks.
Like the animal yaks?
Yeah, like Yaks. They're selling e-cigarettes and,
What?
those farm animals in southeast Detroit,
Selling fucking vapes, dude.
Yeah, no, but then we did grow up next to a yak farm
That's wild.
and a orchard place that sold cinnamon donuts.
Apples?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, apples, yeah. And candy and sex trafficking girls.
Jesus.
I'm just kidding, but human trafficking was a real big problem in the Somerset Mall and
No fucking way.
and wherever the fuck that is in Michigan. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Human trafficking. I brought my prom dress there, and I made this whole big deal in the hallway. I was like, I found my prom dress. I was like, what this is like a very straight moment for me of like, I found my wedding dress. I'm getting married to a man next week type of vibe. But I made a really big deal about it. I was like, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have announced that I was in high school.
Did it traffic you?
Yeah. Perfect.
How was your prom?
Prom was good. Prom was really fun. I went with my friend named Moose.
Named Moose?
Yeah, he was the Moose in our high school. His real name was Murad, but nobody could pronounce it because I lived in the Midwest. So everyone called him Moose.
That's a cool nickname, though. Remember the other day, mine was Tortuga? Because everyone thought I was retarded. Tortuga means slow.
Yeah, you were... Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just kidding.
It checks out.
Yeah, that's mine was Miranda because of stupid.
Oh, how original.
Yeah, right?
How original.
Did you hate your nickname?
No, I kind of just roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're still trying to understand how it is rude?
Me?
Yeah, because you're
Kind
so
of, no.
Tortugo. Hey, now we're cooking. Silly.
Let's talk about some comedy, dude.
Oh, shit.
So, I'm from Vegas, and when people hear that someone works the door, it's usually just like a whatever job. But obviously, with what you do, I wouldn't say we because I'm just kind of starting out. But what you do, working at this as a door person at the comedy store.
Door guy.
Door guy, okay.
I'm a door guy.
Okay.
I'm a lot dog. Yeah. I'm a bro when I'm at the fucking comedy store. Yeah.
But yeah, tell me why it's so like lucrative, dude, and so why it's such a great opportunity.
Oh, it's been really fun. It's a great opportunity because I get to open the shows. So I'm bringing up like, dope ass comics, Laura Peak or fucking Pete Holmes or, just like Steve Fury I got to bring up. That was cool. Just like I'm getting to, Sarah Tiana. I'm just getting to like bring up these cool comics at really beautiful stages in the world and like physical stages. And and the rooms are just so iconic, and like everybody goes, like the best comics go there. I met Adam Sandler on
No
Monday.
shit.
I met
saw he
Sarah
was there, that's
Silverman, like
right.
Whitney, like yeah. Oh my God,
Damn.
Adam Sandler was dope. He was coming down the driveway, and I was working the lot because I'm a lot dog. I got my cutoff on. I was protecting these gates, dog. I'm protecting these cars. No one's touching this custom GT3 Porsche, not on my watch. But anyways, yeah, Adam Sandler was walking down the driveway, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, sir, you're gonna have to check in at the front." Oh, Adam, come on back, bro. I was like, literally, come on back, bro. And because you know that's the Sandman.
Yeah,
You know, like
dude, hell yeah.
that's Click. You know, like.
Cool guy.
Oh yeah. I was like, come on back. We like laughed. I was like, how are you today? He was like, good. What are you up to? I was like, you know, just parking cars, fucking bitches. And he was like, and laughed. And then I opened the rope for him, and he went in. And I was like, oh my God.
Dude, that's wild.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
it was so crazy.
It was sick. So like it's been fun, like, you know, kind of telling people like where they can and can't be. And it's fun when you fuck up and it's paid regular or it's Adam Sandler. And you kind of, you know, you learn to like roll with it, and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm sorry, man. Like, you know, you just kind of try and be, oh, what's your name? Like, I'm Miranda. I'm sorry, I'm new here. Or, like, you kind of just roll with it when it's someone like that. Mm-hmm. But when it's someone not, you get to tell them to get the fuck out. Oh my God, is that fun? So like, I like the job of it too. Yeah. And like seating people, and like now I'm kind of particular in how a room is sat. Like when I'm at other venues, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm always like looking about how they seat the room, and like, oh, like they did that, that's cool, or they did that, and I didn't like that. But now I'm like very particular, like when I run shows, like how I pull the chairs up, or how I, you know, turn the chairs and shit. Yeah, it like has taught me like that, like little stuff about just like running a good show, like running a club level show, maybe somewhere else, whenever that happens, or at a different club. Right. But you have to be careful because you can't change another club's seating. Like that's what I learned that, because I was like, after I like started working there, I went and I ran a show at the Improv, and I tried to move the chairs in the lab. And my good friend who works at the bartender, Brian, he was like, you're not supposed to do that in someone else's club. And I was like, damn, I get that. Like, I get that. I'm like, word. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, bro. Yeah. Because we had like sold out the first like 2 shows there. So we were able to do it. Like, we can only do that if we sell it out. Right. Or if you're like Mike Falzone surrounded, where you need the show to be like in the middle. So you move everything around. But it was a fun learning moment with a good homie that was like honest with me. Yeah. Like, and just like ever since then, I kind of like just, you know, you learn as you absolutely go. But so it's fun. Like, it's taught me a lot. Absolutely, and, dude. I mean, I've like it tests your endurance as like a comic, because you're like, on Friday I had to open up the Belly Room show for Up Next, the Door Guy show, which like all the homies do 15 minutes in it, like all my coworkers. That's what's up. And we just get to run our shit. We get to work on it. It's kind of like a professional open mic. Like that's how I would describe it. Where we're like we have stuff, but we're working on it, but we know what we're gonna talk about. Right. Like we you know, we're there to work. And so like I was opening that show for them, and it was really like it was at 10. The show was at 10:30, and the main room my spot was at 10:25. So I was opening up the main room at the same time. Right. I was supposed to open up the Belly Room, and I was working the back door. Oh shit. So I'm working the back door. I'm like, I need a cover, and it's like 10:25 at this point. I'm in the main room thinking. I know they're not going to start because they haven't sat the room all the way. So they're like, we're going to start later. The Belly Room's like, we're going to start later. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, I'm about to get fucked. You know, like, it's going to be crazy. So what happens was I go up to the Belly Room, and I'm like, okay, like, the main room's going to start at 10:45. When are you guys going to start? This was like at 10:38. And they were like, okay, well, we were going to start at 10:45. And I was like, oh, shit. well, what do we want to do? Because everyone knew I was opening up both. And they were like, we're going to start now at 10:40. So I ran downstairs, got my friends from the main room, like JP, my friend Rhea, my friend Danny. I think Angie was there, like just like some homies that were there, like to support me. I think John was there too to support me. Luke Walls. I was like, come on.
Walls.
Yeah, I was like, come on. And everyone came up to the belly room. And I did the set at 10:40. Fucking like crushed. Like it was, I like had so much fun. Like I just crowd worked. I did like 3 jokes that I knew were going to work. And then, but like got into it in a good way. And like, just because I checked everyone in. So I checked everyone's tickets. So they already all knew me.
Okay.
So I was like, what's up, homies? Like, I saw you down there. Like, I spieled y'all on, like, the rules. And it was just really fun, like, getting into it like that. And then immediately got off stage at 10:45. And, like, turned my recorder off, started it again. Was like, come on, you guys, like, let's go.
No fucking way.
And I grabbed all my friends. We ran down to the main room. Right when I walked into the main room, the lights went down for the show to start. And I had to run behind the stage, get all the way back to, like, the green room area behind the stage and be like, okay. And right, like, when I got back there, they were like, she's a Comedy Store favorite, like that type of like.
Shit,
everybody
dude.
Start clapping, like make it loud for Miranda Meadows, and I had to go out there and do another set at 10:45 to 10:50.
Wild.
And I had to open up the main room, which is so fucking hard, so hard.
That's so crazy, dude.
Like
Fuck.
the belly room, everyone's right there, you know.
Right.
Main room, everyone's everywhere.
That's so crazy, dude. How was working at because you've been working at the Comedy Store for how long now?
3 months.
3 months and.
Yeah, almost 4.
Okay, and how has that changed, kind of like, or has it changed, like, kind of like your, I don't know, has it changed, like, working there and stuff like that?
Ooh, yeah, I'll tell you that story.
Yeah.
But after I jumped off the main room stage at 10:50, after I started the show, I ran out at 10:50. I was in an Audi helping the lot guy park a car.
Just going back to work.
Dude, it was fucking nuts. So it really fucking tests your, like, whole fucking ability to do this thing that we're, like, all trying to do. Yeah, in terms of, like, because I've been there for, like, fucking, Angie's calling me. Should we answer this?
Answer it, yeah. Speaker.
Yo, Angie, I'm on a podcast right now. What's up?
Oh, you're doing a podcast right now?
Yeah, we got both mics to the phone right now. I'm with Jussie here.
I need to talk to you about scheduling. I got scheduled to work Crack 'em Up next Thursday, but it doesn't seem like La Jolla got back to us, so I need to talk to you about this.
Okay, can I call you in, like, an hour?
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Sounded serious, dude.
I thought that was gonna be way
Buzzkill.
funnier.
Straight business, dude.
Damn, I mean, hey, we business women out here. We work 2 jobs together, me and Angie. So, yeah, that's so funny. Okay, so that is so funny. Okay, anyways, so yeah, so I've been working at the store for, like, since May, and it's mid-August. And about 4 weeks into my working there, after, like, I mean, it was a crazy first 4 weeks. Like, there was so much happening, so much transition happening, like, within the store. And, like, it was an interesting time to come in at. But it was, I think I really liked the time that I came into it. And, like, with the 5 of us, like, I hired together, we're so, like, I love Angie already. Like, I met Ben. Ben is, like, the best. Ramsey is so great. Jackson, I knew Jackson a little bit before, but, like, getting to know him better is, like, he's so funny and just, like, such a good dude. And they're all just, like, it's just we were a good group. And then Taylor got hired up a little bit after us. And, like, I like Taylor a lot. Like, just, like, everyone's really nice. And then I'm trying to think of my train of thought. Oh, okay. So I've been working there for, like, since May. Me on a podcast being like, all right, let's just, like, fucking do this.
That's just the weed.
You can do that in a podcast, right?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Stop
you do whatever
it,
you
swivel.
want.
It don't matter. I feel like it was, like, the 4th week I started working there was when things started to change, because that Tuesday, Jesse Johnson trained me in the parking lot, and it was fun training in the lot because that was like not everyone's a lot guy, and not everyone parks the cars, and so it was like kind of coming into like a new role, and with it like a different like group of like the door guys, and like it's a hard job. It's a really like I get it now why people like when I see them like so serious like I get it.
It's a job.
It's a hard job.
Yeah,
like,
it's a job.
Trying to figure out like because people always stay longer than they say. People leave right after their sets, having to flip the cars. People roll in early and they like leave early, like whatever it is, but you have to like mathematically like be ready for that, and you kind of like understand. You learn like how everybody hangs and everybody like everybody likes to do their thing.
That's interesting.
But Jessie trained me in the lot, and like rolling with her the whole night was fucking sick. Like just being like, yeah, we're in the lot. She's training me. I'm parking all the cars. Like she's just watching me. It was so fun. She was just like eating grapes on the side. She taught me well.
Drive some dope ass cars though.
Yeah, it's been fun driving the cars. It's scary as fuck.
Hell yeah,
But
dude. Hell yeah.
It's been really fun, and I'm getting better at driving. Just like in general, like in it, because the lot is small.
Small as fuck.
It's so small, and you got to park 2 rows in there, and like have other.
That's true.
And then you have the ramp, and it's
Yeah.
hard. And then sometimes people I don't know. I'm like people get offended sometimes if you put them on the ramp, and I'm like, it's just like, bro, I'm just dealing with it. I'm dealing with internally. It's nothing to do with you. I love you. But yeah, it is funny just like all that stuff. But so Jessie trained me in the lot that Tuesday, and then the next Wednesday I did the comedy dating show, which is Hormos Rashidi's and Kim Congdon's show.
Okay.
And they do like a dating game show. And I was in the second group to go up in that. And basically you're just like kind of going on a blind date. Like she's blindfolded and she only gets to judge you off your stand-up for like, you get 4 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then the next round is like she takes the blindfold off. Or she can't or exits someone off the show based off of their stand-up. So it's like, it's
no
scary.
Shit.
My material was
No
not working, so
way.
I just started riffing. I was like, oh, I'm really good at fingering, and I got C cups. Like, I don't know what else you want from me. Like that's probably my best, deal. And the judges were like, Hormos, Felicia, Cooper, and Joel, who are all door guys. And I've gotten to like fuck around with like Joel and Hormos in a fun like banter way, but Felicia and Cooper, but Felicia not really. And so that was like kind of a first like thing for like us to kind of get like, she was just like her and Cooper were going off of like the fact that I was like acting like a 13-year-old boy and like just like being gay, and like they were so funny, and like they got to just like fuck with me like that, and I was just like taking it. I was like trying to stick up for myself, but like they're just like so funny. And so I feel like that kind of like show camaraderie was like really fun for like and I didn't bomb, so, and that was important. And so like for that to happen, I feel like those 2 days back to back with each other was like the day it went from like not necessarily like a cold shoulder, but just like a shoulder to a what's up. And then it's been kind of smooth sailing ever since. Like, I've just been kind of working on my stand-up, fucking hustling.
How much of your when you're doing a set, how much of your stand-up is like crowd work and riffing?
Too much.
Yeah.
Too
You're really
much
chill
for
at it
me.
though. You're really good at it.
I went to I went to Joshua Tree with CJ Price when I knew you had on, right?
Yeah.
And it was so fun hanging out with CJ, just riding with him into the desert. But yeah, we went out there, and I got to do 25 minutes, and I just did 25 minutes of crowd work.
No shit.
Yeah, because they weren't really like sitting and like
Damn.
listening for material. Like it was like they could only like I did some jokes, but it was like my short jokes
Right.
set up punchline where it was like they could only hold attention for that long.
God damn, 25 minutes of just straight up crowd work?
Yeah, so you
Off the
kind of
top
just gotta
of the
like
fucking head?
whatever the crowd is like. You gotta be able to say fuck your material at some point. Like as much as you like love your material, and if you're working on like a special, I get it. Or if you're at a club and you want to like flex, or sometimes you want to flex at like indie shows, I get that flex. But like if they're like literally like they don't give a fuck, they're drunk and they're not holding attention for jokes, like, and they just want to talk, you might as well talk. If you can contain it and control it, and
Right,
nobody's
yeah.
like, hey, fuck you. Hey, you fucking women aren't funny, like type of shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, that's wild. What's your process like when you're doing that? Like, what do you think?
Crowd work?
Yeah, like you're just obviously observational, right? But like, if you run out of shit to say, like what?
Yeah, I feel very lucky because I've been able to film the last like 2 years of surrounded crowd work, Mike Falzone's show. So every show at the Improv, I'm behind the camera filming. All these like really amazing comics do crowd work. Like
I see.
like
Okay.
Alex Hooper, I've seen just like murder, and like just like you get all the Mike Turner, you get all these different types of crowd work. Like Amy Miller is so funny. Like you get all these styles of crowd work, just like you're watching through a lens and you can't laugh because you're holding a camera. Sometimes I do laugh and it like
Of
adds
course,
to
yeah,
it,
of course.
but like, but like, it's been fun like being able to study it like that.
Yeah.
And so like I kind of just like learned from watching in a way.
Right. Yeah.
And not like I'm like taking, you know, exactly what they say, but I'm taking like,
How they weave,
yeah,
right?
the weaving and the cadence of jumping through it all
Yeah.
is really fun, and like hard to do when, I don't know, because it's like it's cool to do and it's like you just do crowd work, but to do it with jokes and like
Right.
it's really hard.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And like to know when to do it, to know like
how to build up to it, the tension.
Yeah, know what to call out and know what not to. Like I did a show on Thursday. I was doing a guest spot and I did well, but like I didn't do like as good as I wanted to for how fucking packed the room was. And like
Right.
I didn't bomb, but like I crowd worked with these two people that were like, and the last guy he crowd worked and like the guy hadn't made a move. And so I turned to the girl and I was like, "Oh, are you the girl that I was waiting for the move?" And she was like, "Oh," and like some people laughed and some people were like, "Oh, like just leave it alone," you know,
Yeah.
type of shit. And I was like, "Fuck," like I didn't pick up on that,
Right.
and so that kind of sucked, you know, where it was like, and then you kind of have to like know when to like, you know, bail out of it. Like I was like, "Oh, my bad, sorry,"
Yeah.
and then there was this giant fucking like mammoth right next to me that was like looked like a big piñata, and I was like, "Doesn't a mammoth look like a piñata?" Like kind of like just like, you know, like fucking whatever. Moving on. Like you kind of just learn like your fucking defaults of like
Yeah.
how to deal with that shit, where it's funny and it's like not maybe like funny in what you say, but you're being funny, where it's like, oh, you know, that was like, oh, my bad, like whatever. Or, like it's like where people won't hate you, because sometimes you'll be like a lot of the time you'll like turn on the people and be like, oh, fuck you, you know?
Yeah.
Like you
And
don't.
some people don't handle that well sometimes.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
not at all.
Fuck, I had lost my train of thought. You said something good. I wanted to ask about it.
It's a podcast. Do whatever.
Damn. Fuck, what was it? You said something. Talking about crowd work. Oh, when you started comedy, was that kind of like how you started? Was just doing crowd work, or did you
No.
do the jokes and stuff like that? You grew into it.
No, when I started, I stayed really on book to like what I had wrote, and that fucked with me. That fucked with me hard. Like, there's a certain like you gotta know what you're talking about, but like it trips me up. My tongue gets like too in my mouth, like when I'm like too focused on like hitting every single word.
Right.
Right. You know, like
Yeah. Right.
so. I don't really like.
So how do you write then? Or is it like? Because I actually asked Adam Fink this. He was just here a couple days ago, but I feel like sometimes I'm overwriting, and then when I overwrite, I'll take it to the mics, and I'm like what you said. I'm trying to hit every word, and it just becomes me
Yeah.
doing like a speech almost.
Go
you
through
know?
everything you wrote and pick out like the general topics of
that line.
the paragraph.
Right.
Boom, like the first thing, boom, boom, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, however many things. Try to keep it to like 5 things, because it's only a 5-minute mic, 3-minute mic, 3 things, you know. But like, let yourself like know what you're gonna like, know your thoughts on it, but like let yourself go off train and like wherever your mind goes in the moment, because like That's where I've come up with some of my best shit.
Right.
Or like just extra tags or
Right.
like or like my emotional side will take over and I'm like, oh, I didn't know I could take the perspective from that side of it all. Cause like
That's
it's
interesting.
yeah, it's all perspective. And like I feel like sometimes I struggle with that still. Like I'm trying to right now work on expanding jokes and I'm like, who am I?
Yeah.
Yeah. But so you write a lot?
I try to, you know what I mean? Just because I that's what I did in film a lot of times, was just writing. And it didn't translate well at all into comedy because everything I write is just so long, you know?
Yeah.
As opposed to just like these punchline after punchline. It was just like one punchline at the 3-minute mark. For 3-minute mic.
Yeah. Well, people's attention spans are kind of fucking quick these days.
Very
so you gotta
quick.
be quick.
Yeah.
And you gotta cut the fat. And I think that's something roasting has taught me is like to cut the fat. Because roasting, you gotta be specific with the words.
True.
That's when you gotta be specific with it because it matters.
You do a lot of roast battles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try not to do a lot of them back to back to back because it does take me away from writing my own comedy.
Right.
But it does help me write jokes. And it does like
How so?
like just structurally. Structurally it's like, oh, what can I take 2 factual things about this person and like write a joke on it, or 1 factual thing and write a, you know, like what's take this person's history, just focus on this person and write like set up punchline jokes. Like
I see.
yeah, or just like the type of person. Like I roasted a Mexican guy and I was like, oh, he hates Tapatio because he got his cheeks clapped by his Tio. Like, that's my favorite joke I think I've ever written. And it's not even a stand-up joke, and I'm trying to make it into a stand-up joke. But it's like when I'm in a, like say I am doing crowd work with a Mexican guy.
You drop it?
Yeah, I can pull that out. It's not me being hateful. It's not me actually I don't know that person.
Right.
Like,
but it's a good joke.
yeah, it's just like a joke. So it's like sometimes it's like fun because you could do just jokes, or you can do jokes on the person, or like.
That's good to have though in your arsenal, you know what I mean? Especially when you're doing crowd work and shit. Just like those little ones where you can just throw out there and then get it going.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you got to be able to get it going.
Yeah. How do you kind of get yourself in that headspace to get it going? Because
it's hard. It's
dude.
Every day is different. Every hour is different. Especially with like life.
Even 5 years in, fuck.
Dude, it's like, well, I feel like now, because like now I'm like dealing with like, I got 2 jobs.
Right.
I got a lot of good friends that I like to keep up with, that like I care about. I got, you know, maybe trying whatever it is about a relationship that's happening in my life. I got my family shit that's happening. I just had to go home twice in July, like twice.
Yeah.
It was fucked up, and like just trying to balance it all is so hard. So like in terms of getting myself in the right headspace, like. I gotta have at least like an hour to like when I'm like now it's like sometimes I'll just go up and I'll like know my material like at a show where I'm like, oh, like I know at least some of the stuff I want to do, but I'm not like thinking about like new stuff I could talk about at a show. And I should be doing that more. Like I need to sit down with my notebook like an hour before the show, and like I do that at the show, and that's when I come up with like riffs, and then I have my material.
Jesus, at the show you're doing this?
Yeah.
God damn.
I'm just like thinking, yeah, I'm just like always thinking. But like in terms of like being premeditated with it, like I know my jokes. At this point I have material. It's just like bringing in new material at shows now. I'm like, I need to do that. And I need to expand, and I need to not care if sometimes I'm just talking at a show that's like a good show. Because sometimes that's the best stuff. I'll force myself to find a punchline. When it's at a show and there's a bunch of people, even if it's a stupid fucking punchline, I'll fucking find it.
God damn.
Yeah.
That whole world is just so crazy to me. Just like being that experience, you know what I mean? Because there's so many, obviously 2 months in, there's so many things
Yeah, I mean 5.5 years is a long time, but like it's still nothing. Like it's still like I'm learning every day. It's like I have 2 shows tonight, and the first one's at a bar and the second one's at a small theater. So
No
I'm
kidding.
Yeah. So I'm just like, how do I like I'm excited to see what the vibes are.
Yeah.
I know my jokes, so I know what jokes I could just easily quickly do.
Right.
But it's like, ooh, maybe I want to do something new, or just talk about my day, or roast the audience.
Right.
Or crowd work with them, or talk to them. Like it's like I have all these things in like my fucking what's a lesbian fanny pack?
Lesbian backpack.
My my boxers. I have everything is strapped in my boxers, and so I'm just kind of pulling it out when I see fit for the environment of the show and what it is. But that takes a really long time to get there, and I don't think a lot of people do that. I think a lot of people stick to their guns, aka their material, and they just do that, and that's cool. That's stand up, but like the magic of it all happens when you're like off book, and you're just fucking going.
And just the repetitive part, right, of saying the same jokes. Like, to me, like, I hate saying the same jokes in front of the same people right now. I just can't get over that right now.
Is that because you feel like you're doing them at mics? Like, are you doing them in front of mics, in front of stand-ups, comics? Yeah.
I got my first show next week.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Where?
Fourth Wall.
Oh, hell yeah. Cafe?
Yeah.
Dope. What time? What day?
Friday at 8. Next Friday at 8.
Those have been getting fucked ton of people. The Fourth Wall weekend shows.
Yeah, dude. It was packed. I went to just a couple of days, or like a week ago, I went and fucking, Willem?
Yeah.
Willem, he brought like 20-something people.
He would.
Packed it up.
He would.
He didn't do too bad.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that you had to say he didn't do too bad when he brought 20 people. It's like they just kind of let him do okay. Yeah. That's so funny.
He's getting crafty though. That kid is getting crafty because he gets crazy sometimes with what he says.
Yeah. That's cool. That's fucking dope.
Yeah.
That's sweet that you're. Yeah. When doing them at mics and doing the same jokes at mics, don't feel bad about doing the same jokes at mics. Just always have a new tag. Always have something new about the joke because doing it the same way is like, all right, that's embarrassing.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, come on, add something.
Right.
Might as well, even if you didn't write it, just fucking stop for a second and think about what you just said and say another tag, and then move on to your next sentence. Like,
I'm starting to see that now though. Like, just like the process of it. Like, I can see comedians now, like, just kind of thinking of more shit and going deeper into what they're saying, like riffing off their shit.
I'm trying to do that.
I thought everyone just had their shit written down and they were just going up there and just repeating it and just trying to find.
Well, the best comics to watch, in my opinion, the ones that keep me excited to watch, are like, what are they gonna say next? Like,
right.
Jamar Neighbors. My God, so good. I just never know what he's gonna say. He's got a lot of written stuff, but he'll just go off and keep going with it until he's like, all right, and then I'll move on. And, he's really good at that.
Okay.
But yeah, so like I just kind of watch how everyone does it.
How far along were you in comedy where you started to find out that you weren't like a writer comic, but more so of this
pandemic?
Oh, no shit. So 2 years in?
The pandemic time. Yeah, like
what?
I started April 2018. In June 2020, I was on a beach doing a beach open mic because it was the pandemic. And it was the ocean mic. Mary, Romeo, Casey, Kelly, fucking Jenna, all those girls that run it. They started this mic. And I was like, oh shit, I saw some photos. I immediately went to the next one. And I hadn't talked on stage in 3 months. And I was just like, blah, blah, blah. I didn't have anything written. And I was just like, because it was the first time I was seeing this guy. So I was talking about like consistently like having sex for the first time. And I was like, oh my God, like look at me, I'm fucking glowing. Like I wasn't hitting any punchlines, but man, was I just like, like
the energy too.
Yeah. And just like fucking riffing. And like it worked for me in a fact where I was like, okay, I know I can trust myself when I have things I want to talk about. But sometimes it's really bad. But so the pandemic shows were like where I kind of, because you had to riff. There was like a baby 2 feet away with their family at the beach. Or like you're in a park and there's a homeless person sleeping right there. Or you're at the library in Pasadena at 11 p.m. on a Sunday. And your friends from New York who are here in LA run a mic. And they're like, we're doing it at the library outside of Pasadena, like the Pasadena library.
What?
And we're like in a neighborhood doing a fucking open mic. And I'm like doing a Cardi B WAP joke. And you're like, and you're have to be like every day, like quiet in the class, like like the Dewey Decimal System, you guys, like just like finding like library shit you can riff on, or like how nice the yards are, or like there's somebody walking their dog.
Oh,
it's like,
wow.
Like you just have to like comment on things because it's like if you don't and you lose their attention, or you're not being funny. Also, that's like I've never been a good writer. Like I've never been. Were you good at English?
No. Never. Not good at English at all.
Yeah, I wasn't good at English, so I'm very scared of writing.
I was never good at school.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I was good at school in middle school, and then high school I got too social.
Yeah. Same here.
But yeah, so like, just kind of like pandemic times were like dope.
That's so wild how it took you that long to kind of figure it out.
Well, I think it takes, people say 2-3 years, and you start kind of knowing your perspective on things.
Right, yeah, that's what I hear a lot.
And once you know your perspective, that's when you can kind of understand that you can just talk. But like, I feel like, I don't know, you can just talk early on too, but like, people be writing and they're trying to figure out like their writing style too, and I feel like that's a big part of it. You have to know that. I'm trying to go back and relearn my writing style right now, like what works for me,
right.
and like how I can deliver jokes in a way where it's conversational but also material.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God,
That's wild.
But it's like, I'm doing it slowly. I'm doing it slowly. Yeah. I'm doing Tortugo.
Tortuga?
I'm doing Tortuga. Yeah, whatever the fuck. Yeah, sorry. I was saying Tortugo because you're a man, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I don't know if that applies. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah, me either, but I did take Spanish for 2 years. Come on. It's enough, a verbiage joke.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on, let me have a verbiage joke.
El Tortugo.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah.
So fucking Comic Wars.
Comic Wars.
How long have you been doing Comic Wars?
Dude. Oh, I got some stories about Comic Wars.
I love it.
Comic Wars was dope because we started that like 10 months after the Ocean Mic started.
Okay.
So it was still pandemic times. Everything was in the backyard, but it was like Mary had been running this show and everyone was like, well, fuck, I want to do that show. Like bigger comics that were like, fuck this shit, I want to do a show. Mm-hmm. They were coming on and we were like, it was starting to become a show more than a mic. And so we'd do the mic before and the show after. And like Mary started meeting these big comics. Like I did Mary's birthday show in a backyard in January 2021, mm-hmm. and Pete Lee headlined it. Morgan J headlined it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like it was fucking dope. Like so we just started becoming friends because we were running this shit. Like all my friends in the scene at the time were running shows. Like Ahmed was running a show in a park. Like Kyle and JP were running a mic at their house in fucking
what the fuck?
East Los Angeles, right by Dodger Stadium.
No shit.
And like, yeah, like everyone would come there and like you just started like meeting people, and then like the bigger comics started coming out and they wanted to do indie shows. So like backyard shows blew the fuck up. And like shows in parks blew the fuck up. Shows at baseball parks blew the fuck up. Like
damn.
Yeah, like Don't Tell Comedy blew the fuck up because they were doing spots randomly. I think they had already been doing stuff like that. Uh-huh. But like once they were like, oh shit, like everyone's trying to do that now, like it just blew the fuck up. Like everything like that blew the fuck up.
Yeah.
So you got to be quick on your feet. And then, Comic Wars. Mm-hmm. So Comic Wars started because through the Ocean Mic, I became really good friends with Mary Romeo and Nick Torchon and Nate Welch. And we were all like, we want to run a roast battle show. So let's do it. And I was like, okay, well, I was like, I want to produce it with Mary, and we were already talking about all producing a show, mm-hmm. but it was just like who's gonna do what,
right?
And so I was like, well, if I'm gonna produce it, low key, I want to host it. And Mary was like, okay, well, Nate's already hosting, so let me just talk to him, see if like you can co-host. And Nate was like, hell yeah. So like me and Nate co-host the first one. We packed out the backyard. It was fully like, it was mainly all comics and a few guests that weren't comics, but it was mainly all comics. But man, was it fucking electric! It was electric. Like
you and Nate are great hosts. It's like a nice balance.
Thank you. It took us a real long time to get to where we are. Like, but me and Nate have done so much work together as like friends, mm-hmm. as artists who work closely together, and as hosts, and like as people. Like Nate's grown a bunch. I've grown a bunch. Mm-hmm. But we had to really fucking figure it out, like in terms of, because we have like a system down now. But to find that system and to get to a point where it wasn't like, oh, people don't like us hating on each other, really punching down on each other. Like we can, we both look like, or like, oh, yeah, Nate looks like this, I look like this, like, but if we're really like, like mean to each other, like just to, like being like, oh, Nate, come on. Like, like, no, that type of shit. Like, not that it was, like, ever, like, a thing, like, that was bad. Like, not that I would ever do it. It was more of, like, a Nate issue, I'm being honest. Like, I was just like, dude, you're being fucking mean to me. And so we've had, like, like, and he didn't understand, like, whatever about it. But, like, we've, had talks about that. Or, like, I, maybe did something that upset him, and we've had talks about that. Or, like, just, like, kind of finding, like, what we do and how we are as a team.
Right.
It's taken us a long time to get to where we are. But now we have such a good, like...
That's all part of it, though. It's just communication, you know what I mean? As long as you guys can...
And I can't do the show without him. I fully cannot run. Like, I do the booking. I do for, like, the whole backyard era, we were in the backyard every other week. It was, like, every other week. It was so much.
Damn.
Comic Wars.
God damn. No kidding.
Oh, my God. It was a lot of work. But I did all the booking of, like, the battles and the judges. And so, like, that was in the pandemic time, too. So, like, we were outside in a backyard, and so people wanted to make sure we were outside, so we would book all these really dope judges, like, to judge, like Frank Castillo and, like, Joel Jimenez and, like, Nicole Amy Schreiber and, like, Maddie Smith did it in the backyard.
God
like
damn,
Alex
dude.
Hooper, like Earl Skakel, like Nicole Buchanan, like all
Now
the
you got
fucking
Alexis, Texas.
dude.
Let's
And
go.
now we're at the Improv, and we have Alexis Texas, Trevor Wallace, Frank Castillo, and Kim Congdon. Like, we've just grown so much, and it took us. We've had shitty shows,
Of
and
course.
like, it was at a backyard in Sylmar, which is like 25 minutes north.
Yeah.
So it was hard to pull people out, but we did.
Okay.
But it was like,
I think that was the one you invited me to. If it was at Sylmar, because that's where it was when we worked together.
when did we work together?
That was like December 21. Right? Or 22. Yeah, no, 21.
We moved to the Improv March 2022.
Yeah.
I think that was our first show at the Improv.
How many shows did you guys produce before you guys got to the Improv?
16.
Damn.
16 shows. Every other week, roast battle, 25 minutes north, booking 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 people, all to show up in a
God
night.
damn.
You get more people to come. Yeah, and some people cancel, or like,
Of course, yeah.
some battles just weren't good. And like we had a lot of like dead space when we were in the backyard. Like a lot of like, now at the Improv we've kind of figured out how to pick it up and like make it like be like bow and move on, or like like whatever we do to move the conversation on. But like we always have to be like in it as host. And
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't get good at roasting until like 4 shows ago, and we've been at the Improv for like 7 or 8 shows.
That hosting or roasting, you said?
Roasting,
Roasting.
roasting, not hosting. I can host.
You can host. And
I can host.
that probably went hand in hand with when you discovered kind of like riffing and crowd work, right? And then started hosting. Like that was probably like something that helped both out.
Dude, I did this fucking show in the pandemic. It was on the beach. It wasn't the Ocean Mic. It was a different beach show. And I was hosting it because the girl who runs the show, her voice was like out that week. And so I did this. I'm hosting the show, and it's a Bluetooth mic, and I'm walking through the audience, fucking crowd working, and I'm killing for like 10 minutes. It was the first time I hosted a show that I was like actively like in my career, like, oh my God, I'm hosting a show.
No
like,
shit, okay.
People trust me.
Yeah.
Like the way that when I got up on the stage and just said something after a comic, like they'd laugh because it was me. Like
Right.
it didn't matter what I said. They were just
Yeah.
like, we're fucking here with you.
Yeah.
And so what had happened was there's 2 comics left, and before the second to last comic, I was like, there was this group of people on the beach playing really loud fucking music. And I was like, hey, turn it the fuck down. Like, oh, come over there, beach ass type of shit. And I was like, man, fuck those people. And everyone was like laughing because it's loud. Everyone can hear it. Everyone can see, like everyone gets it. We're all here in the room together. Even though it's a beach, we're in the room together. And in the middle of the second to last comic set, one person from the audience runs over to the speaker and the group of people, picks the speaker up, and runs down the beach with it.
What the fuck?
And I thought it was somebody from their group. And so I was like, yeah, get out of here. Like, like the comic was on stage and everyone was like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. The whole audience was like, fuck you, bitch. Like, like as a joke, because we thought it was somebody like, hi, they listen to us type of shit. They came over. The party came over. Well, the second to last comic was on stage. and was fucking ready to fight. Oh my God, they were ready to fucking brawl. Like, they were kicking sand and shit. They were like, interrupted the show. They came onto the stage because the stage is the beach and there's no stage. and they came onto the stage in front of everybody. I mean, there was like 70 people on the beach.
Holy shit, dude.
And in front of everybody, they were like, what the fuck? The comic on stage was fucking not helping the situation. Like, making it worse.
Shit.
Making it worse. And as the host, everyone's like, it's getting like serious. Like, there are people involved. Like, it's like real serious. Like, there are people involved. There's property involved. Like, there's, most importantly, music involved. There's tunes involved, bro. It's beach energy, dog. Like, and people get mad at the beach. It's like, people are pissed. And so the comic on stage is making it so worse. I have to step in. I grab the, like, she hands me the mic. And I'm like, okay, wait. What happened? I'm like, just talk to me, bro. Like, I'm like on the mic, like literally, I'm like, what happened? The guy, everyone can hear. It's the beach. You can hear everything. Like, when they don't even need a mic. Like, you can just hear everything. And the guy's like, one of your fucking audience members came over and stole our speaker and ran down the beach with us. And I look at him and I go, and I look at the audience and I go, that's fucked up. And the audience dies laughing. Like, fucking murders the room. The guy's fuming. You know? I'm like, that is fucked up. And I am so sorry about that, sir. Dude, you get the speaker. Like, I am so sorry. I did not mean to make a big deal about it. I thought it was my fault. Because I had, made a whole big deal about it. Right. And somebody loved me so much from the audience. They were like, I'm going to go do this for Miranda.
That's hilarious.
That wasn't the case. There's a whole ending to the story. So I diffuse the situation. I diffuse it by being like a level-headed straight man. Like, in the sketch, like in this, I'm the straight man. Like, I'm in control type of shit. They leave. I'm like, you guys got room for one more comic? So the last comic comes up. It was so funny. Alexis Bradby, I'll never fucking forget it. She was like, I leaned over and told my friend how anxious I was with the music playing while I was performing. And her friend was the one that ran over. Everyone's dying laughing. Alexis crushes for like 12 minutes on the beach. I go back up there and I go, hold the fuck up. Your friend ran over, stole that speaker, took off down the beach because you were anxious about performing with the music? That's a good goddamn friend. Everyone dies fucking laughing. I'm like, dude, if my friend told me that, or like if my friend told me that the waves were pissing her off while I was, I said like, I was like, what's her friend gonna do next? I said this to the audience. What's her friend gonna do next? Is her friend gonna, if she says that the waves are bothering her, is her friend gonna go out and strangle the water? And everyone like dies. It was just so silly and like so fun, and like you really just have to adapt. Like, it's like you got to make everyone feel okay when you're hosting, which is hard to do when you run a roast battle, and you have to make everyone feel okay.
Oh, that's true. Like, we'll talk about that later, but especially at the last one.
What happened?
Do you want to? Well, I guess I can cut it. What's her name? London.
Dude, that was crazy. So yeah. Okay, so oh my god, a few things happened at the last one. The last one was great, but it was funny because we put up two really racist comics.
The first one.
The first battle. And the one black judge we had was like, what the fuck? And I get it, but it's like a roast battle, so we were like, okay, come on. And then I made a mistake during the third battle, which I made this. I'd already pre-written this joke on the two comics we're performing. I was like, like this is the scummy agent and the untalentless comic, and the comic was like clearly bombing, and everyone was like, oh. Why'd you have to say that, Miranda? I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like, they could turn on you so quick. That's wild. Roasting. Yeah.
That's wild. Especially for a roast, dude. It's like a fucking roast battle.
Do you want to do a roast battle?
Do I? I would. I'd be down to do a roast battle. I don't know, like, I would. I'd do it. Why?
Just curious. Because usually people are either like, hell yeah, or fuck no, or yeah, I'd do one.
I'd do one. I would do one. I would. Yeah. I feel I don't know. I just feel like that was just something that me and the homies did a lot. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
yeah.
I don't know if I'd be good at it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I'd do it.
I was really bad when I first started.
Yeah.
Real bad. Like, especially with just like, I wasn't good at, I could host, but I couldn't roast when I was hosting Comic Wars. And then I started doing roast battle and I couldn't roast. I couldn't roast or perform. I was being like too mean. I was going up there with like fucking like, fuck you, like I'm gonna fucking like, you know, like a real
like
mean.
aggressive fucking.
Yeah, like something that's not me or fun. And so I would like bomb because I'm like, and they weren't funny jokes. And like I would bomb and then like I hated it. I fucking hated roasting. When I was like, oh my God, dude. I'm not like good at this. And I run a show and it's at the Improv. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so I worked really fucking hard on it. Like in I'd say the last 3 or 4 battles I've had, I'm like, holy shit, I'm getting good at it. In the last like fucking 5 or 6 Comic Wars at the Improv, I'm like, oh shit, like I'm throwing out zingers. Like I haven't really been doing that before.
Yeah.
Like the show, whatever show fucking Viet and Evan Warner battled on, that show, I was fucking killing it the entire show. Like I was just on. And like after the show, I was like, damn, I left with no regrets. It was just cool.
Yeah.
Because usually I'm like, I have all these roasts and I'm like too unconfident to say them. But I run a roast show.
Yeah, that's so weird to me. I thought that was like your bread and butter. Honestly, like I thought all that was your bread and butter.
No, I'm not really a mean person.
That's wild.
It's actually made me more of a mean person, like a douchebag, like maybe more angry, maybe. But I've always been an angry person, but like never like mean. But now I'm like, damn, I'm like in my crowd work, I'm like fucking coming up with these zingers. I'm like that are sometimes too intense for the audience. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm sorry. Fuck, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's interesting, like becoming, like learning it.
What would be like one of the most important things that you think I should be working on 2 months in?
2 months in?
Yeah, like obviously like finding your voice and stuff like that. But what is there anything I can do to accelerate that process? Like doing mics, obviously, you know, like that's one I get all the time. But mentally, is there something that I can hone in on?
I'd say physically doing mics. I would before the pandemic. I stayed in the North Hollywood scene, which I think was good for my beginning. But I would hit like 7 mics a night, 7 mics a night. Yeah. So like you can schedule them out slotted, but like now it's harder because there's only like so many and they're so far away from each other, and there's only so many. Like I mean, I'd go to the shitty ones too, but I would hit like 7 in a night or like 5. And like if I didn't do a mic at least once a day, I would feel like that's why I do the noon improv mic every day. I love it. And except for the weekends, but I do it on the weekdays. It's part of my schedule. It's part of my thing. Like I just get one shitty set out the way and like, you know, but yeah, every day. Also, sometimes like every Monday, if you're unemployed right now, I'm sorry.
All good. I've talked about it.
Like I would wake up at 7 a.m. and at 7:30 I'd be at Starbucks and I'd write till about 4. And I'd sit there and I'd have like feelings and I'd write punchlines off of that feeling, punchline. Like I would try and craft jokes. And some of my jokes I still do now are like my first few jokes I've ever written because I like them.
Wow, yeah.
And they're written well.
What do you mean feeling? And then explain that to me. Like when you...
Oh, like, not that stand-up's all complaints, but it is like all opinions and feelings and emotion.
Right.
It's like how you can talk about general things, but like, what does it mean? You know, like what does it mean to you? Why are you getting up there and talking about that if it doesn't mean anything to you? So it's like, oh, like my one-liner of like, I hate pumpkins. I don't hate pumpkins, but like I was like, damn, I just hate pumpkins. But I wanted to write a joke about like how I hate the stem of a pumpkin. So I was like, I hate pumpkins because the stem hurts my vagina. It's like it's so stupid. It's stupid, but it's one of my favorites for an audience. They just love it. It throws them off. Like, you know, it's just fun. Like, everyone knows the stem of a pumpkin's kind of prickly. Like, you know, it's just like uncomfortable. Like
the detail of it.
Yeah, like it's just fun. So like I always try and do like, or like just emotionally, like what's going on in my life, like whether that's like my sexuality stuff or like my family or my trauma or like you know, like my grandma passing away, like,
Right, yeah.
like I always try and start very honest so that I can go silly.
I
Honest so I
see.
can get a fun punchline. Because you got to
I
gain the
see.
trust of the audience. You got to be honest.
Damn.
They'll
note.
sniff it out.
That's a very great
They
note.
will sniff it out
Yeah,
if you
dude.
are being
Yeah,
dishonest.
100%.
And I sniff it. That's why I don't laugh at some shit. We were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That's why I don't laugh at some shit because I sniff it out that they're not being honest. And I'm like, what's the point of getting up on stage and not being like some sort of truthful to like what you believe in and who you are?
Right.
It's like,
100%.
why are you talking about the submarine explosion?
Yeah.
It's not you, bro. Yeah. That's for fucking, I don't know, the news to talk about. I mean, I don't know. That's whatever. I'm a big fan of topical comedy, too. Don't get me wrong. But, like, you know, if your dad didn't die in the fucking submarine explosion, why are you talking about it? If you didn't lose your sugar daddy in the submarine explosion, why are you talking about it? Yeah.
Someone did lose their dad, and they went to the Blink 182
Oh,
concert,
yeah.
remember?
And someone did lose their dad, and they also died with him. You guys lost yourself, homie. Damn.
We're coming to the end now, but fucking, like I said, I got my first show next week. Is there any advice you can give me on my first show?
Mentally, just fucking
Oh, yeah, that's
mentally,
right, that's right.
and maybe this can like lead into it. Mentally, just like have your songs you go to before you go to drive into a show. Have your songs, have your like a video you watch. Have something you look at before. Have like a thing you say to yourself in the mirror. Like, you know, like have something you do consistently. Like I always fucking brush my eyebrows up and I go, sup? Like I always like, you know, come on, bitch. Like
Yeah.
I gotta get myself into like the swagger. Like try and get yourself into like a thing where like no matter what is going on in your life, whether you are like at a mic, fuck it, and be emotional as fuck. At a show, fucking be professional.
Right.
And like have that emotion and use that emotion, but like don't be like go off the rails. Like, you know, like no one to hone in. Like just like hone in, work on your craft. If you want to get good at this, fucking do it every day for more than 4 hours a day. More than 4 hours. Treat it like a job.
Yeah.
And like you will get to the level that you want to get to. And you'll see it with like the shows you book, how consistently they come in, how much better in response you're getting at the shows and shit. But hit the mics. The mics, love the grind.
Yeah.
I love the grind. Like
yeah.
the grind is the best. And in terms of just like first show, I don't know, my hands clamped up and I was holding the mic like this for my first show. And they did not unclamp.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It was like, I have like, when I get anxiety, it forms in my arms.
No
and then it goes
way.
down to my hands and I have to like shake my fucking hands out. Or they'll like, you know.
Stiffen up.
And my first show was like.
No kidding, dude.
Yeah. So just like do the whole, are you an improviser?
I can do it. Well, I've never done like
you know, like the
improv.
old like countdown from 7 or 8 or whatever, or 10. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like I see Eliza Schlesinger. She stretches. She stretches before her sets. Like I saw her one time.
Something physical.
Yeah, do something like go on a run. Like, you know, get yourself in your body that day. That day for sure. Cause you're always
Not in the mind, but the body.
Yeah, because don't be just funny with your words. Be funny. You gotta be funny, you know?
That's good advice, too, because I always get caught in my head. I always talk about it, how I'm always in my fucking head.
Nah, like
some of these
you'll see
mics.
me bomb at the fucking fourth mile mic and I'll
Yeah,
be like,
yeah.
bitch. You know, like you gotta like be in your body, because if you're in your body and you're fucking genuinely funny, which if you're doing stand-up, you should be genuinely funny. Don't do stand-up if you're just
not funny.
Yeah, don't do stand-up if you're not funny. Don't do stand-up if you're just trying to get funny on the don't do stand-up if you're just trying to get famous on the internet. Don't
Yeah.
you know, like if you really want to get good at it, you can, but just like be in your body and like, you know, don't just stick to like, it's not just about what you say, it's about what you do and who you are on stage too. So always fall back on those two things. If nothing else works out, that's what people will say, you got such great energy, you got such great energy. It's never you got such great writing to me, which sucks because I'm trying so hard to fucking work on that. And I've been working, I'm like, but what about my joke? It sucks, but like I fall back on that shit to save my ass.
Right.
And it ends up making me more likable to an audience anyways.
Right.
So it's like, just trust your guns as in who you are in your body.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
great advice, dude. Well,
Yeah.
we're coming to an end, Miranda. I appreciate you
Dude,
doing
this
this,
is fun.
dude. That was awesome, dude. I
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
having me.
But yeah, let's tell the people where they can find you.
And cut that shit out. Cut that shit out of all the bad shit. Cut all that bad shit out. You can keep that in, but cut all that other bad shit that I said. Yeah, cut all that really homophobic. No, just kidding. Yeah, cut all that stuff I said about MILFs. But if you're MILF. Yeah, Comic Wars on the 28th. Comic Wars the last Monday of every month. It's on the 28th this month. We got Alexis Texas judging, Trevor Wallace, Kim Congdon, Frank Castillo, Nate Welch co-host with me. We got Dope Ass Battles. Go watch tomorrow's game on fucking Vudu or Amazon. I'm going to Austin, so I'll see you there.
You doing the Comedy Mothership out there?
I've got a show there. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Shenanigans. Check out Shenanigans, Mike. And stay true to yourself. And fuck them hoes. And don't ever get it twisted that I'm a good person. And just know my tits are bigger than they look. Okay? Fuck you.
All right. Thank you, Miranda. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you,
Bye.
Jesse.